Okay, everybody, we're gonna start. And I prepared this game to show you. It's a very fresh game played in Norway chess 2016 between Anish Giri, one of the participants of the upcoming Sinquefield Cup tournament starting tomorrow, and against Indian Grandmaster Harikrishna. And this was an excellent display for the Indian Grandmaster, who was a little bit lower rated than Harikrishna, a little bit lower rated, but still very high, 27.63. But he managed to win with black. And he played a French, my favorite opening that I played for a very long time. For 27 years I played the French, so always very exciting to see a French victory. d4, d5, knight c3, knight f6. When they play knight c3, what line is this of the French defense? What line is this of the French defense? Now, winover is when black plays bishop b4. If black plays bishop b4, yes, that's going to be winover. But this is not that. So what is this going to be here? When he plays knight c3, that's a different line. And that's called classical. Okay, so remember, that is the classical variation of the French. So against classical, we can play bishop b4, winover, we can take only 4, Rubinstein, or we can play knight f6 line, okay? That forces the e5, okay? This is called classical system. Knight goes on d7, white pushes. White is gaining some center. c5, knight f3, bishop e7. Normally you play knight c6 here, but here he played bishop e7, bishop e3, castle, queen d2, and here a very interesting move here played by Harikrishna. He is trying to solve the problem of the light square bishop, which is it's a common knowledge that this light square bishop is our problem. So that's why we are trying to get rid of this problem. Okay, so that's why we choose the move b6. We play b6 in order to play bishop to a6. That's the idea. Now bishop comes a6 and we are trying to exchange. Okay, so again, remember that's the biggest problem in the French is your light square bishop. So when you get a chance, you want to try to exchange the bishop. Okay, so remember that. So he goes knight d1, a5, c3, a4. The a5, and then we're trying to play a4 to put some pressure, okay? Gaining some space. It's important to gain space, so that's why he's playing a4 move. The next move is going to be bishop a6. So bishop d3, he's waiting for bishop d3, and now time to play which move?
Bishop a6.
Excellent, excellent job, bishop a6. Now he castles, knight c6 developing. The problem of the light square bishop is about to be solved any moment. And the question will remain if white can attack. If white cannot attack with f5, then black is going to be doing absolutely fine. So he goes bishop takes a6, rook takes a6, and now Giri decided to attack. So he played f5. Do you see why black didn't want to take the pawn here? For a moment it looks like it's just a free pawn, but actually in reality it's not a free pawn. What is the problem? Can you see? What is the problem? Martin? It weakens our center a little bit because then he can also play queen d3, attacking the rook and attacking the f pawn. Yes, so if you take, unfortunately this runs into queen d3, attack the rook, attack the pawn, you play c4, queen takes f5. Okay? And that is the problem. So that's why after he plays f5, we need to make a good move here. What we can do here? Okay, now, what did he play here? See, a lot of people would have started panicking right away after f5. It looks very threatening and kind of dangerous, but in fact, white doesn't have, you know, bless you, immediate threats, you know, here. So let's try to find it. Let's try to find some good ideas here.
Knight a5.
Knight a5 is interesting, yes. But the problem is knight a5. Your knight on d7 is going to be very passive, so that is your problem. Okay, so that's why he doesn't necessarily want to play b5 here. Okay. Now, and also the rook is going to be hanging, so there's going to be some problems with like queen d3 move. So that's why he didn't want to play the move knight a5. So what else? Yes?
C4.
C4 is a possibility, yes. But then you kind of lock in your counterplay, yeah? C4, he may take a3, and then everything is locked up. Everything is going to be locked up, so it's not so clear. The move he makes, it gives him some advantage, but also it doesn't completely lock up the position. So let's see if you can find that move. What did Harikrishna play here? Very strong move in this position he did. To keep the pressure. Queen c7, that is a possibility. That is a possibility, but still that the rook is being loose there, you know. So that is a little problem, the rook being loose. So that's the little concern there, you know. He didn't want the rook to be loose there. What is it?
Queen a8.
Okay, queen a8 is interesting. Queen a8 is certainly interesting, but he wants to keep the bishop here. He wants to have the queen here to control the position, okay? So that's what he's trying to do. What else? What else you can try to do here? Think about it. Yes.
B5.
b5, that is the correct answer. That's what he played, b5. That stops the queen d3 attack, and in the future he also gives them the option to play like b4 or something like that. So that's why b5 is a very calm move. So now he takes back. I'm not sure, maybe perhaps some type of sacrifice like f6 could have been interesting. Maybe g4 could have been played, because really after he took, he doesn't really have anything. It looks like they created a weakness, but it's so difficult to attack this. It's almost impossible to attack this with something. So that's why, you know, play b5, f takes e6, f takes e6, queen e2. Now, Giri, one of the top players in the world, he is attacking the pawn on b5. The pawn on b5 now needs to be protected. What can you do here? Again, you don't want to play c4 because that's going to completely lock the position after a3, and you don't have any breakthroughs on this side of the board. and slowly, you know, he will put some pressure on this. You might find yourself in trouble. Okay, so that's why you don't necessarily want to play c4 here. Okay, so what can you do here that you keep the tension and also activate and develop another piece here? Martin? That's a possibility, but your rook is already in the game. There is a piece that is not developed, so we want to try to develop the piece that is not developed. Yes?
Queen b6.
Correct answer, queen b6, yes. That's developing the queen and putting pressure on d4 as much as possible, okay? Well, earlier we didn't want to move, but the position has changed a little bit. Now we have pressure, okay? Pressure on d4. He goes knight f2. And here, I think he should have played the move a3 anyhow. This a3 move was important to play. a3 to control the b4 square. Because he didn't play a3 and then that allowed black to play a3 and then b4. That's what happened, you know. So I think this was a mistake right here he made, because if he had played the right move, then position is more or less equal. So, but now, he played knight f2, and can you take advantage of this moment here that he didn't play a3? What can you do first? Now you push a3, and that's what he played. a3, putting pressure on b2. He goes b3, and now b4, Martin. Very good. Very good. Attacking the chain, right? Attacking that chain. And now, this is very important to win this. And also, this pawn on a3 is a very strong pawn. It's a wedge pawn, okay? It's a very important pawn. In the endgame, if you win the a2 pawn, this pawn is going to give you the victory because it's so further advanced. And that's exactly how he won this game, okay? So it's a big advantage. It's a big plus for you to have a pawn like that, because then if you win the a2 pawn, you're going to be able to win the game. All right, so remember that. So here, white already regretted. He certainly regretted this move knight f2 here, because his center is now collapsing. He should have played a3, and he decided he cannot hold the center anymore, so he decided to simplify the position. So he took, bishop takes, he took, knight takes, c4. What to do? If he takes, this knight is going to land on b4, putting a lot of pressure. So he decided to play c4, at least to try to keep the position, you know, a little bit closed. I mean, black is already slightly better, but white is going to try to, you know, fight as much as possible. Now, very good move you have here. Very good move you have here. Let's see if you can find it. Active. You need to play active so you can seize the initiative here and try to get the advantage. Yes?
Knight e4, c3.
Very nice. Very good thinking. Knight e4, activating the knight. First of all, you're putting pressure, right? And then, yes, you want to put this knight on c3. That's exactly what you're trying to do, okay? So he decided to take, to give you a weakness. And then e6. The problem for white, he cannot put the rook on d1 because it runs into knight c3 idea. So that's why he plays e6. e6, trying to create some complications. He's really trying to complicate the matters. Now, what to do here?
D4.
Knight d4, knight c6 to d4. Knight d4. Oh, there is a. The problem is your rook later will be hanging. Yeah, he will take, and when you take, he might be able to take your rook. That's why we can't really move the queen away here. So, yeah. Otherwise, knight d4 would have been a nice idea, because then you would swing your rook over to e6 and win some. So now, yes, Kishan?
97.
Knight, what? Which knight? Is
97.
excellent job, correct answer. Okay, knight e7. The reason this is the correct answer because you protect your little bit weak pawn, and now you simply want to capture this pawn. Once you take this pawn, you're just simply going to be up a pawn, and you'll have pressure. So it goes king h1.
Knight c3.
Knight c3, Alex, excellent. Queen d3.
Take on e6.
He didn't want to take on e6 because I think once you take here, there could be some problems because
Yeah.
getting loose, knight jumps in, a little bit of pressure. So that's why he doesn't really want to take the pawn. So that's why he played this h6 move. It's a very strong move actually because first of all, it stops all this knight g5 attacks with the jump. It also gives the king an escape square. So it's an excellent move. It's an excellent move overall to stop all the counterplay. So now he goes knight to d1. He's trying to exchange this knight because that way he can at least eliminate this powerful piece here. Now the question is, what should black do here? Very strong move again. Very strong move. Let's see if you can find this move. Yes? No, no.
86.
Oh, yeah, you could take the pawn, but if you just take the pawn, he will take, and queen takes.
And you win the pawn back.
And he wins the pawn back, and it's going to be more or less equal. Now, what is the idea here? Very strong move, actually. So let's see if you can find that it's a real grandmaster move here. Strong grandmaster move. So think for a little bit. Because if this knight gets eliminated, then things are going to start hanging. Things are going to start hanging. So what are we going to do? Okay, yes, Alex.
Knight e4.
Yeah, you could do that. You could do that probably. But then maybe he will try to go knight e3, knight d4, try to get a little bit of activities. So what else you have? Huh? Queen c6 is possible, yeah. Then he probably captures, pawn captures knight d4. We don't want him to capture our knight. That's the key here, because if he captures, then we will lose our advantage here. So what can we do here that he doesn't capture our knight? It's a little bit of tactical idea involved here. It's really a difficult move, but you can find it. Now let's see if you can find the following move here. Alex.
Knight takes a2, so it's on the a.
Yeah, knight takes a2, yeah, but that's losing a piece. I don't think it's worth it to lose a piece, okay?
Why?
Yeah. I don't think we want to sacrifice a piece to win a pawn. I don't think so. That's a bit too much, yeah?
We play on d4 to put our upper knight on d5.
But what if he just says thank you and takes it? Queen takes d4? F8 is, I see, very smart, yes.
I didn't see that it offered the queen trade when he took it, so I don't think it works as well.
d4, no, it's an interesting move. But he played this move, queen b5. Really powerful move. That's a very serious move. That's like a... The point is now, the queen has been the best piece for white for a long time, defending and trying to combine some attacks. So when opponent has an active piece, what do? Trade him off, right? And that's what we're accomplishing here by playing queen d3. We're just simply trading the queens off, okay? So queen takes, knight takes. Now this is hanging.
Rook e1.
Well, rook e1 doesn't help too much because rook f6 and I think this pawn is gone. And we're gonna take this guy. So that's why he goes knight f2. Rook takes e6. Now black is enjoying the extra pawn, and on top of it he has this pawn and the c3 square to work with. So he doesn't get better than this. Knight d3, white is trying to at least create some kind of counterplay. So he doesn't just lose without any counterplay, so he goes knight c6, rook fc1. Now, rook fc1 with idea to call rook c5 perhaps, and again, you know, to create some counterplay. Now, what can black do here? Martin?
Knight to c3.
Excellent job, yes. Knight to c3. Now you're trying to block this, and now you want to play d4 to strengthen the position. So he goes knight takes b4, knight takes b4, rook takes c3. He actually wins the pawn back. But the problem is your a3 pawn is still remaining. You have now a very powerful knight on b4. And what are you going to do next? What are you going to do next now to win a pawn at least? Kishan? Rook e2, yes. Attacking the a2 pawn, a very important pawn that cannot be captured, that cannot be protected. Rook c7 comes in with a threat to get behind it. If you play an accurate move now, you're going to lose the pawn because rook is going to get behind it. So which move is very important to play here before we try to even capture any of the pawns? Which move is very important here to play? Yes?
Rook a8.
Very strong, Martin. Yes, rook a8. Stopping the rook a7 ideas. He cannot do any of that anymore. Knight d4 attacking the rook.
Rook takes a2.
Rook takes a2. Rook takes. Now he goes back rook f1. Now he goes rook f1 because if he takes, obviously just knight takes, you go back, you're gonna win. So he goes here. He wants to maybe come in here. It's not gonna be easy, obviously. But what is the winning move here? The game ended in 2 more moves. Play like Harikrishna. This was a very impressive victory against Giri by black. Very impressive victory. Let's see if you can find it. RB2. You could play RB2, but better. I don't think he played RB2. Rook B2. It's probably winning too. I have no doubt it's winning. Yes?
Rook f.
How about this move?
Yeah.
How about RD2? And simply attacking the knight. Now we are attacking the knight on D4. If he moves it to, let's say, F3, we go rook B2. That's the idea, okay? So now he tried his last trick. Last trick now, H3, hoping you take, and maybe he gets this in and some kind of drawing ideas. Probably still not going to work, but we're not going to fall for that, right? So now, what is the winning move here that is going to make white resign? Now, how are you going to make him resign here? We don't want to take, because if we take, we're going to lose. Well, we're not going to lose, we're going to give some chances. So what is the winning move here? What is the winning move here? Which pawn?
A.
Correct answer, A2. Pass pawns, they meant to be pushed, remember. And the good thing about it, Giri resigned here, no more moves, because if he goes here, you go check and say check, and then you say take that knight, and on top of that you protect the weakness. He takes, you take. He takes, you take. And you have a very powerful position, okay? Rook is coming to A2 and taking everything. Got it? White is Anish Giri, one of the grandmasters who is playing in a tournament here. He's a super grandmaster. And black was a player from India, also a super grandmaster, Harikrishna, Pentala Harikrishna. So black won actually against a higher ranked opponent by using this very impressive display of the French defense. Okay, guys, excellent. Everybody did very well. So at the end, what I like to do now, do like one nice study. We'll see, maybe we'll be able to do two, but at least one, to see how good you are in solving the studies. Okay? Let's see how good you are in solving the studies. The study is a little bit long, so I'm just going to get down to the crucial moment here, okay? White to play and win. White to play and win. We have to find, you know, it's not a forced solution. So don't just think it's going to be check, check, and you win. In some point, you're going to have to find some nice idea, okay? So don't rush. Okay, no, let's think a little bit more. We don't want to just say one more. We want to try to get a little bit more if we can, okay? A little bit more, and we get the solution. So let's not rush a little bit with the answer. We have to start with a forcing sequence, but in some point, we're going to need a quiet move, okay? We're going to need a quiet move in some point. So forcing sequence and a quiet move, okay? Yes, what's the forcing sequence here?
Well, I don't really have a forcing sequence, but I was thinking queen b7 and then maybe play king b4.
Okay, he's got the first move right. That's a forcing sequence. But now you need to find a very nice move here. You need to find a good move, impressive move right here. Let's see if you can do that. King d4 is very close, but unfortunately, you probably missed this check. And then your king is going to get hunted down and with a lot of checks, okay? So this way you're not going to be able to win. So what are we going to do here? Idea is right, actually. His idea is right. It's just you need to find a better placement. If you can find a better placement, I'm giving you a hint, actually, by saying that, you're going to be able to win this. So what is the idea here? What is the idea here? We try to find a square. Kishan? King d2, correct. Good job. Yes. Now, same idea as you, but the difference is now, do you see a check now? Is there any check now? No, right? Because if check on d7, we take. But you can ask me, wait a minute, but we're not threatening anything. This is one of those positions where you're not threatening anything, but anything he makes is going to make his position worse. Zugsuan, very good. Zugsuan, yes. That means he is in big trouble. Any move he makes is going to make his position worse. If he goes here, checkmate. Okay? If he goes here, checkmate. If he goes away, checkmate. So he can't really do anything. So he moves, queen checkmate, so he's really, really stuck. Queen takes e5, queen d7 check. So it's really, really difficult position, okay, for him. And most importantly, he doesn't have a check. If he had a check, then he would have been able to stop your counterplay. So this sequence is check. He comes up here, and simply we play king d2, and now he doesn't have any more checks. So this shows us when we're trying to solve this kind of positions, we're not always looking for check, check, check solution. Sometimes we have that, but oftentimes also we're going to have an idea that is going to involve a quiet move. Okay? Quiet move, and then eventually that's going to result into a better position for you. So that's why look for quiet moves as well. Not only for the forcing moves. Sometimes the quiet move is going to be the one that is going to give you a win. Like in this position is an excellent example of Suksuwan, where, you know, black is in Suksuwan. Anything he plays is going to make his position even worse. Okay? All right, very good. So any questions you have regarding the first game? Everybody understand the ideas of that French defense? How we managed to do it, the a5 and bishop a6 plan. So that was very important, and to understand how the top grandmasters play. So, and to play the a5, b6, bishop a6 idea. So we had a couple of French players that I know, I'm familiar with. So, and some of the new students here definitely can add this to their repertoire against the e4 and use these ideas.